A sincere welcome to the San Francisco Giants Minnesota Twins series presented by Furniture Mart. Home tailored for you. It's game number 50 for the Minnesota Twins. They've yet to have a 4-game losing streak or yet to have been swept in a series. They'll try to avoid both fates here this afternoon. It's a beautiful day for baseball. Once again at Target Field, Dick Bremer along with Justin Morneau. When the Twins start the series Friday night against the Toronto Blue Jays, Louis Varland will be pitching for his hometown team. A little bit of a different twist here today because Joe Ryan is going to start against his hometown team.
Yeah, he pitched against him last year. He beat him, didn't give up a run, so he's been throwing the ball very well. And you had your ace going last night. Now you have another ace going today, and you're going to need Joe Ryan to help you avoid getting swept at home. He's been very good. He's upped that usage of the split. He's had 9+ strikeouts in his last 2 starts. He's done everything he could have hoped for and maybe even a little bit more. And you're going to need him to do that today as well. Heading into the off day, you want a good feeling, and he's the guy to provide that good feeling if he goes out and pitches the way he has all year.
Twins have had a tough time scoring runs, but when they have scored runs, there's a really good chance Byron Buxton's been in the middle of it.
Yeah, very few guys can go out there, hit you a home run, steal you a base in the same game, and he did just that last night. Now he's going to need a little bit of help from his friends, but he went out there on a first pitch, got a hanging split, drove it into the bullpen, and you figure, okay, now the floodgates are going to open. Unfortunately, that didn't happen in last night's ball game, but it's always a good sign when he is swinging the bat well. It takes pressure off of everyone else, and he has been very good at home. He's really settled into that designated hitter role. He's got a good routine going in his home ballpark. 8 of his 10 home runs have come here at home, so a lot of good things happen when he's in the lineup and when he's in the DH spot. He's played a ton this year and on pace for a lot of career highs, at-bats, walks, home runs. So when you get him out there, when you get him running around the bases, when you get him disrupting the game, he makes a huge difference, and he's in there today hitting second. So let's see what he can do.
We'll see if the Twins can get enough runs to win a 1-run ball game. They've lost a lot of close ball games, and they're hoping that they can win the series finale and get things moving in the right direction. On all your home improvement needs. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the Twin Cities.
It's a matinee series finale in downtown Minneapolis as the Twins look to snap a 3-game skid this afternoon against the San Francisco Giants. Hi everyone, welcome back to Target Field. I'm Audra Martin. With the loss last night, the Twins have now dropped 6 of their last 8 games, something that Rocco Baldelli says is compounded by the fact they feel like they've been in each and every one of those games. But the problem has been the lack of consistency. When the bats have been going, there's been a hiccup on the mound. And when the arms have been strong, the bats have been quiet. But even so, this morning, Rocco Baldelli told me there is no time for a woe is me attitude. Nobody feels sorry for us, and we don't feel sorry for ourselves.
It's been a tough run of games. I mean, we've been in feels like almost every game in a very tight situation with either the lead or an opportunity to take the lead. And we haven't taken advantage of our opportunities, but it's insignificant to what goes on today and what goes on tomorrow. I mean, we shouldn't be paying much attention to what we've done. We need to know what we're going to do.
Well, there's no time like the present to get back into that win column. The Twins go for the total team effort against the Giants in the series finale that comes your way next.
It's a comfort when you're struggling to have the league ERA leader go one night and then you don't win that game, but you've got the next day the guy who's 4th in the American League in ERA going for you. So on a beautiful day here, a cold front has come through, but it's absolutely perfect here at Target Field. We'll see if Joe Ryan can pitch the Twins to a win. Gabe Kapler has seen his team really take off. They've won 7 of their last 8 immediately on the heels of losing 6 out of 8. So that's how quickly things can turn around for a team if you can just take that first step back into the win column. Here's the Menards batting order for the Giants. Lamont Wade Jr. followed by Thairo Estrada, Mitch Haniger, Michael Conforto has swung a very powerful and potent bat in this series. Blake Sabol, Mike Yastrzemski, Casey Schmidt, Brandon Crawford, and Brent Wisely.
The home furniture, starting pitcher. Today will be Joe Ryan looking to stop this little mini losing streak. And he's been very good all year. Done a great job limiting damage. Only 4 home runs allowed. Doesn't walk many. Just in complete control when he's out there on the mound. He's done a great job of developing his secondary pitches and learning to trust them, and goes to him when he needs them, and he's always got that plus fastball in his back pocket that he can use.
For defense for the Twins with Injuries and illness impacting the starting lineup for Rocco Baldelli. Willie Castro in left, Michael A. Taylor in center, Matt Wallner getting right field. To the infield, it's Donovan Solano, Kyle Farmer, Edouard Julien, Alex Kirilloff, and Ryan Jeffers around the mound. It's a measure of how unstreaky this season has been through 49 games for the Twins. Their longest winning streak is 4 games. They did that to start the season. Their longest losing streak is 3. They've had a few of those, but they've never lost 4 in a row. And they'll need a win here today if they're going to stay above the 500 mark.
Well, you like your chances with Joe Ryan on the mound, but 2 pitchers who really limit the base runners, limit the amount of walks they allow, limit the damage. Both guys only allowed 4 home runs. So see if small ball ends up winning this thing or if it's whoever has the biggest swing of the day.
And in there, strike 1 to Lamont Wade Jr. Justin mentioned that Ryan got a chance to pitch against the Giants last year, did awfully well. Grew up in the Bay Area, was actually drafted by the Giants out of high school, but went to college instead. And a ground ball that'll split the middle infielders and get into center field for a leadoff single. And that'll bring up Thairo Estrada.
He got himself an 0-2 split. A guy who doesn't strike out much is able to put the ball in play. And as we've noticed a lot more often this year, a lot of room up the middle, some balls that on the ground in the years past haven't been rolling through. That one got through.
Estrada takes strike 1. Ryan always throws a high percentage of strikes. The ideal is upper 60s in terms of strike percentage. Nice leaping catch by a fan without a glove. But you'll see Ryan's strike percentage, instead of being in the upper 60s, often in the upper 70s. Another 0-2 pitch. Half swing, they'll appeal. No, it's 1-2. You got to be ready in the first inning, even if you're a fan.
Leaving your feet, coming down, not clanking off the seats. How about that?
1-2.
Well, you get a reputation of being a strike thrower, then the hitters go up to the plate aware of that, and they go, either you get some quick innings, some quick at bats as a result, or the hitters continually fall behind in the count. And it just feeds into what you're able to do well, and it just has no fear of throwing the ball in the strike zone, but it also allows him to pitch deeper into starts.
And maybe we already saw in the Wade at bat the research intelligence that's available for players these days. Wade had never faced Ryan. He didn't play for the Giants when Ryan made his start last year against them. 0-2, never faced the guy before, but he knew that Ryan was a strike thrower. He wasn't going to waste a couple of pitches and even the count. And maybe he knew that Ryan likes to. That's a fair ball down the line, and it'll play off the diagonal wall. Wade will be held at third, and the Giants start the ball game with a pair of hits and a threat here in the first inning.
Yeah, this ball just hugging the line all the way down there, bouncing over the bag at third. Right, fortunate to hit off that half wall down there. He was able to get on top of that, and I think even though you know it's coming, you still have to force yourself with the way his fastball plays and the way it kind of rides through the zone to tell yourself, I got to get on top of this pitch. And the scouting report will tell you that, but until you get in the box and see it a couple of times, it's really hard to make that adjustment.
Outside ball 1 to Mitch Haniger. Giants on a roll, and while we've pointed out that they do season long rely very heavily on the home runs, and Conforto's hit a couple of big ones in this series. 2-0 in the 8-game run where they have won 7 games. They've scored 36 runs and only 11 of them have been on home runs. And right away here in the first inning, a single followed by a double, and they're in business here against Joe Ryan. Popped up, foul ball. It'll reach the seats.
They did this to Bailey Ober. First game of this series, jumped out there and got some base runners, and then the difference obviously in that one was the home run. Let's see if Joe Ryan's able to pitch out of this. And Bailey did settle down nicely and give his team a chance and pitched through 5.
Short right field.
Show it off.
Wallner's got a great arm, and they won't send him. Look at that throw. Kind of short hop Jeffers, but Wallner's got a tremendous arm, and on a short fly ball, they weren't about to send Wade one away.
Yeah, he got behind this ball. He had his momentum going, and then, as you said, he's got a tremendous arm. See, as his momentum's taking him towards home plate, he gets behind this one. We saw one, I believe it was 99 miles an hour last September when he was up and he got some playing time.
Here is Conforto. 3 extra base hits. They've all gone to the opposite field. Twins bring the infield in for Conforto. And Ryan just misses outside, ball 1. 3-run home run against Ober in the series opener in the first inning. Outside again, 2-0.
That was close. First one looked like it might have clipped the box. You know, something else happens. You know, hitters are aware of, but also umpires. They know, get behind the plate on a guy who throws a lot of strikes or works around the plate. You got a reputation as a strike thrower. Umpires are aware of that too.
And there's that high fastball that Ryan gets so many swings and misses on, and he needed a strike there. It's 2-1.
It's a 2-0 count, and a guy who's had a great series, has plenty of power, and isn't able to get to it.
Over a few inches, pretty much the same elevation, and strike 2. 18th pitch for Ryan, trying to pitch out of this first inning jam.
Yeah, that pitch that throw from Wallner in right, 96 miles an hour. He uncorked that one. So shorter right field here. He's coming in on that ball. Nobody out. You're not going to take a chance. And uncorked a good one there.
He pitched some in college. Still has the great arm. Yesterday at this time, he was in the middle of a game for St. Paul. At an 11 o'clock start. At the end of the game, he went 1 for 4 at the end of the game. Took an Uber, taxi, drove his own car, whatever. He came over here and was pinch hitting in the night game. And now 3-2 with Sable on deck.
Pinch hitting in the night game against a guy throwing 102.
Gets hit in the foot.
He'll take any day in the big leagues you can get, though.
Full count to Conforto. And another foul. So not, you know, and I'm not a mercenary. I don't think I'm too interested in money, but I did wonder this. Did he get both the minor league per diem and the major league per diem yesterday?
That's a good question. Overtime.
Popped up. Farmer. And it is Solano making the catch, and there's the second out, and there are the runners still at second and third.
Well, this is a great job of pitching right here, of going through a sequence of a guy who went to the opposite field with authority 3 times so far in this series. So they changed it up a little bit. They came up under his hands. They made him aware of the fastball in. He's trying to get out there and get to the fastball, and then he throws a perfect split. And he's out front. He pops it up. Let's see if he can work his way out of this. Maybe get a little momentum for the boys heading in for their first at bat.
Off speed pitch. Hits the edge. Strike 1. And now 2 strikes. Turning point in the game yesterday was when Blake Stewart tried to do this. He got a couple of outs, leaving guys on, bases loaded, in fact, but then there were 2 bases loaded walks that got the Giants on the scoreboard, and then they took the lead in the next inning. On the ground, right to Julian. Great way to start the game for Joe Ryan as he pitches out of a second and third, nobody out jam. Pitches his way out of it. Maybe that will be a spark that somehow mystically can get the lineup clicking.
Yeah, I think there's the way the first 2 games have gone. You look for some positive. That's a positive to start.
Menard's batting order for the Twins. Edouard Julien leading off. Buxton hitting second. Then Dominic Solano, Kirilloff, Farmer, and Castro. Walner, Jeffers, and Taylor. Facing Anthony DeSclafani.
Your home furniture starting pitcher numbers, take a look. The whip, very good. Doesn't allow many walks. Not a high strikeout total, but still has good stuff. And that's what the left-handed hitters are going to see. More sliders than fastballs, more changeups than fastballs. So a lot of off-speed. He uses the fastball for effect against the lefties.
Driven to left. Haniger going back toward the gap, looking up. It's gone. Edouard Julien starts the game with a home run.
Well, you called it. That's your pick to click today. Eddie going to have a good game. Comes out, goes Oppo Taco. 4 rows back. He went out there and got it. And just like that, you strand 2 runners, second and third, nobody out. He comes up and gets a slider, middle. And he knew it off the bat. There's not many no-doubters to the opposite field. That thing left by quite a bit. Nice swing.
He's doing his Michael Conforto impression there. And now missing low ball 1 with a fastball to Buxton.
Coupe de circuit. There you go.
Excuse me?
That's French for home run.
Say it again.
Coupe de circuit.
Well, that kind of makes sense. Circuit, right?
Yeah.
What was the first part of that?
Coupe. C-O-U-P. Coupe de circuit. I'm not going to do it again. It's
okay.
going to get blasted for my terrible French accent.
And Buxton guides a single into left field. And that'll bring up Solano.
Well, you know these Twins hitters are going up there with a plan, with an approach of knowing how many sliders he throws, knowing what his best pitch is. Doesn't give up much on that slider. It's actually his most effective pitch, but if it's something you're looking for, you got a better chance of hitting it. Whether Buxton was looking for it or if he just saw it out of the hand and hit it well, doesn't matter. He's standing on first base.
And now Solano. Technically, it was Julien's first leadoff home run, but probably should put an asterisk behind that because at Yankee Stadium he got a single in the first inning to start the ball game, and later that inning hit a first inning home run, and that one too to left field. Swing and a foul.
That'll be the answer to a trivia question, I'm sure, at some point. But his first hit at target field, like going Oppo for your first homer here, make you feel good about your home ballpark.
Yeah. 1-1 to Solano. One and two. Just based on his lead, it doesn't look like Byron Buxton is even considering stealing second.
Well, but maybe he's just trying to make him think that. We saw him last night when he got that great jump. He had about that same size lead. And it just looked like he had a walking lead before he took off and stole that base easily.
But before the game these days, they've done their research. They know pitchers' time to home plate, pop time for the catcher in terms of catching and releasing a throw to second base. Liner, and Buxton is back safely. He went just far enough. And for a guy whose lower half is not 100%, That probably didn't feel real good, having to slam on the brakes and pull a 180. A little slow in getting up.
It's amazing, though. There's not many people that can take that extra step and then still have the quickness to be able to get back there.
So now Kirilloff will bat. Everything that's been hit has been hit pretty hard here against DeSclafani. Kirilloff lifts it to right center field. And making a catch on the warning track is Conforto. And off the end of the bat, maybe just a little bit. Kept that ball in the ballpark, 2 down.
Yeah, just a changeup. Not perfect contact. Really close. Good swing there. Backed him up to the track. Boys going up there with a good approach, getting some pitches they want to hit. Put some good swings on them. Good start so far.
And now Farmer hitting 5th, playing short. In the absence of Carlos Correa, an update on his condition coming shortly from Audra. Ball 1. One and 0 to the Twins shortstop. Seemed like the natural move to make. If Correa can't play, why not play the guy at short who was signed to be the Twins shortstop before, I won't say Correa fell back in the Twins lap, given what they're paying him, but before that happened, Farmer was going to be the everyday shortstop. There goes Buxton. And receiving the throw, Crawford well in front of the bag, and Byron does steal second base with 2 outs.
Well, Farmer saw him take off a 2-0 pitch and figures if Buck feels like he can take it, he's going to let him go. So he takes the pitch. Buxton a little peek in to see if there was any action on the play. Slides in easily.
Isn't that nice to see the designated hitter with his uniform caked in dirt?
It makes you feel better as the game's going along, feeling like you're involved. It is always, though, when you're DHing to get involved in that game early. Sometimes you take that first at bat, then you sit there for an hour, 45 minutes until your next plate appearance, and you don't really feel as involved.
Some of that belonged near first base, some of it near second base. 3-1 to Farmer. Ground ball to third. And Schmidt fires across. Wade's able to keep a foot on the bag. And the Twins will settle for Julien's leadoff home run.
Here in the second inning, it's time for your clubhouse coverage. Carlos Correa got an MRI on that heel yesterday and told me he was pretty encouraged by the results that showed just some inflammation and a bit of plantar fasciitis. He said it already feels much better today. So with a day of rest today, the off day tomorrow, he's very optimistic for a return this weekend. Joey Gallo is also out today as he rests a tight hamstring. Rocco Baldelli said, could he play in the field and run base to base? Yes, but if he had to turn it on for whatever reason, I don't want to see what that would look like. So when it comes to Gallo, also a good decision to give him a couple of days rest, and they're hoping that it won't stretch out too much longer in terms of his absence, guys.
Yastrzemski lifts one high and deep to right center field. Back is Wallner, and it's high off the wall, retrieved by Taylor. It's a leadoff double for Mike Yastrzemski here in the second inning.
This ball is about a foot and a half from getting out of here. A little too high. I think he hit it well, but it's interesting for me to watch, particularly Taylor, how quickly he's adapted to play in this ballpark. Tremendous center fielder, great defensive player. Wallner tracking this, going back on it, and then you see Taylor in the bottom of your screen anticipating where that ball is going to bounce to. That was incredible. He played that absolutely perfect. A guy who hasn't played too many games in this park so far.
Squaring to bunt and taking strike one, and I think you saw Yastrzemski thought he had enough, thought he had hit a home run, and he ran, but not real hard, out of the box, and then was able to get second base. One strike to Schmidt, and strike 2 is called. So you look up at the board, it's 28 pitches, 21 strikes, 75% strike percentage, right where Joe Ryan typically is. Leader to the right side and through, and Yastrzemski will round third and score. And Schmidt with an opposite field single to make it a 1-1 game.
All that work to get out of the first and strand those runners. Let's come out and score one quick. Just like that, it's a tie ball game. Gets rewarded for having a good approach here. They're shading him up the middle. Julian's not even anywhere near where that ball was.
So 4 hits in the first 7 at bats for the Giants. And here's Brandon Crawford. Messing up with a fastball. Giants hoping to get above 500 today for the first time this year. And the Twins hoping not to fall back to 500. 2-0. Jeffers paused, thinking that might have been a strike. Ryan has the lowest OPS, on base plus slugging percentage, in the American League. .530. But he's having a rough start here and falls behind Crawford 3-0. And a 4-pitch walk. And for Ryan, that is just his 9th walk of the year in 57 innings. Number 9 batter Wisely.
Well, you could use a ground ball right here.
Gotten a couple of them, but they've gotten hits, or the Giants have gotten hits on those ground balls. The 2 hits in the first inning were hit into the ground, and now Schmidt's base hit that drove in Yastrzemski was on the ground. Just to clarify, now that is considered a disengagement, much like a pickoff throw, so that counts against the limit. Foul back. And so we'll see whether the Giants, who've done a really good job in this series fouling off pitches, that's what they did against Ober so effectively, done a pretty good job of it so far here with Ryan. He does not have a strikeout, even though he's gotten 2 strikes on, I think, just about every hitter. Beaten into the ground, bounced over the bag to Kirilloff. 1 down, the runners move up. And before Wade's at bat, the official MLB Ballpark app is a must for the fan who wants to stay informed and connected to the Twins. Access and manage your digital tickets, browse team schedules, and archive your personal experiences at MLB stadiums. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. Infield in here in a tie game with Wade at the plate. A ground ball single in the first inning, but was left at third base.
To your earlier point, 6 of the 9 first hitters got to 2 strikes. So they've been battling, they've been working the pitch count, they've been fouling stuff off.
There's 0-2.
There's another 2 strikeouts now. 7 of the first 10. It's been that's been the problem of getting ahead or throwing strikes, is it very rarely ever is in any of Joe Ryan's starts. It's now just the ability to put them away.
Snapped his bat. They're going to try to score the run. Here's the throw to the plate. Jeffers hangs on for the out. Schmidt came home, and Julien with the throw, and Jeffers with the swipe tag is able to hang on to the ball, even though there was a bit of a collision.
Well, this is a tough play. This ball broke his bat, so ball not getting to Julien all that quickly. It fields it perfectly. A good feed on the third base side. That's something that was always preached to us when we were doing the infield drills in spring training. Get it up the third base side on the glove side of that catcher, and gives him somewhere to put that tag instead of having to reach across his body.
You can see Ryan's left foot strategically placed so that there still was a sliding lane for Schmidt. If it had been over a few more inches, the Giants might have appealed that there was not a sliding lane there, but it's a nice play by Jeffers to be able to swing the catcher's mitt over and squeeze the ball tightly in the glove for the out. Down the line, foul, 1-1. Just in case Wade was going to try to steal himself into scoring position. One and one to Estrada. Another 2-strike count. 1 and 2.
Fans have come to play today. Another nice catch down there.
But he had his glove, and he just walked over about 3 feet and made the catch.
Tough crowd.
Hey, we're 3 for 3 in T-shirts up here this year. Now that's the second disengagement, and so Wade, knowing that, and the coach, first base coach there to remind him, okay, he can't throw over here without getting it out. So we'll see if he takes off here.
Yeah, we saw that Buxton when he stole in yesterday's game.
And Wade doesn't go.
You just go first move here. Try and draw a throw, getting a rundown. What you do is take about 3 steps, see if you can get him to step off, and then either go back to the bag or see if you can steal a run. I'd be surprised to see the Twins throw through if he does run.
Fouled away. What you don't want to do, I imagine, as a pitcher, is let the pitch clock run down, because the runner at first, then once it gets to 1, he can just take off.
Yeah, you're trying to get rid of that ball 5-6 seconds if you can.
2 and 2 in a tie game. To center. Retreating is Taylor, still going back, but there to end the inning on the edge of the track. Couple of hits and a walk, and a Giants run to tie the game at 1. Is brought to you by Luther Group. Shop the Twin Cities' largest selection of vehicles at lutherauto.com. And by Grand Casino. Let your story begin. Food products that my partner Justin Morneau would smother in mayonnaise. Castro to right, a bullet, and it sails past Conforto. Castro to second, and he'll hold up there. Castro hit a screaming line drive, and Conforto misjudged it.
I'm not sure he saw this thing as coming off the bat at 109.5 miles an hour. So this ball just jumped on him. It looked like he was a little bit fooled because he was out front just a hair. Maybe just the way he caught it out front, not necessarily fooled, but that ball just sailed. Almost looked like it had that 2-seam knuckle spin or something. Just the ball was lower when it crossed the edge of the infield than when it got to the outfielder. He'll take it.
Driven hard to the right field corner. Landing fair, a high hop against the fence. Waller's going to try for 2, and he is in with a double. Back-to-back doubles on back-to-back pitches.
Wow, Wallner having an impact on this game. Didn't send a runner in the first because of his arm in right field. Ended up saving a run that inning, and here gets himself a little slider right in the heart of the plate. Turned on, that ball jumped off his bat, and the way it kicked off the wall, you knew it was going to be a close play at second base. Conforto, I'm sure after misjudging that line drive, would have loved to have thrown him out there.
And now Jeffers. Seven balls have been put in play, 6 of them very sharply. Farmer's ground ball that ended the first inning, the only routine play. But a lot of early exit velocity for the Twins, and they have regained the lead. 1-1. Wallner's first hit of the year has put the Twins back in front. Now 2-1. Twins have gone home run single, a couple of lineouts, and now double here in the second. 3-1. Taylor on deck.
The Twins in game 1 of the series only hit 3 balls over 100 miles an hour. They have 4 already in this game that have been well over 100 miles an hour. Wallner, top of that list. That last one, 112.9 coming up.
Wow. Farmer with a swing and a foul back, 3-2.
I mean, he is. It's remarkable the tools that he possesses. Once he puts it all together, he's starting to get there. He's starting to figure it out. But a 96-mile-an-hour throw from the outfield in the first inning, and then the hardest hit ball we've seen in a while here.
Who does he think he is? Shohei Ohtani?
Incredible.
Jeffers taking a little extra time in his timeout. And there is ball 4. So both starters have been very, very good this year, and both of them have struggled in the early innings here today. For defense for the Giants, across the outfield, it's Haniger, Yastrzemski, and Conforto. And left to right on the infield, Casey Schmidt, Brandon Crawford, Brent Wisely, Lamont Wade Jr., Blake Sable behind the plate. Giants shortening up in the corners here, thinking that Taylor may bunt.
Amazing, you know, Rocco talked about, he was asked if they're going to start hitting running more, if they're going to start trying to force the action a little bit more. He said, probably not. He said, well, do you think you're going to bunt more? He said, well, I think we're probably bunting about as much as we possibly can in that safety squeeze situation. I'm not sure they like the bunt in this situation here. Taylor did hit a home run in last night's game.
Oh, golly. The on-deck batter, Julien, nearly got hit on the fly by the bunt attempt, and then it hit the limestone and squared him up.
It might have got him in the fly.
One strike. And he did not offer at it.
Ooh.
And it's 1-1. Taylor, in the mind of Brian Knight, the first base umpire, did not move the bat forward from his initial bunting position. There's the bat in front of the plate, and good call.
Yeah, and see the bat there, why he clanked that is usually the bat is in the catcher's eye, so he kind of blocked that path of that ball coming in.
Same thing there. This time they're going to call a strike. The home plate umpire, Todd Tishner, says he offered at it. And Taylor, you like to see this, although he's behind in the count now, 1-2, trying to be selective about what pitch he wants to bunt.
Yeah, very similar to the previous one. That one called.
That's strike 3, and both runners are going to try to advance, and the ball gets away. Otherwise, Jeffers would have been an easy out at second base. So he failed to bunt, but the runners move up anyway. The play wasn't on Wallner for third base, but they tried to get Jeffers, and would have if Crawford had held on to the throw.
This is a hard play as the trail runner. You see Jeffers take a half step back. Sable alertly throws that ball to second base, but what happened to Crawford there? He just missed it.
Julien with the infield in. Chases upstairs, 1 strike. Three big league home runs, and 2 of them have gone to the opposite field. Got out of the way, and it's 1-1. To right field, hit right at Conforto. Wallner will tag, and he will score, and Julien has driven in 2 runs in his 2 plate appearances. To get something out of this was really important, and Julien got the job done.
Yeah, this is great situational hitting and aggressive base running by Wallner. Just anticipating a ball in the dirt on a guy who throws a ton of sliders. Instantly was off when that ball clanked off Sable's glove. A little lucky break as well at second base to not run into an out by Jeffers. Julian, a couple productive at-bats. The young guys coming over from St. Paul making a difference.
Yes, they are. And now Buxton, who has been in St. Paul, he just has never played there, takes ball one. Twins answer with at least 2 here in the second. Popped up and back into the seats. Well, now a little spat going on here. The home plate umpire, I believe Todd Tishner, threw the ball back to, or the new baseball back to DeSclafani, who wasn't looking for it, and he actually got hit by the umpire's throw, I believe. Maybe umpires should just hand the ball to the catcher all the time, and if something like that happens, it's on the catcher.
Short night of rest.
Under foul back, and there, now he hands the ball to the catcher, and the catcher throws the ball to the pitcher.
And on top of it, the fans are 3 for 3 on foul balls.
There, DeSclafani got hit on the left forearm by the pitch.
At least it was his catching arm and not his throwing arm.
And Buxton swings through, strike 3. But the Twins start the inning with a couple of doubles, bring them both home, and it's 3-1. National Bank, that never gets old.
Yeah, Matt Wallner getting behind this ball, using his momentum, and then using that tremendous arm strength to throw a missile to home plate. Keeps the runner at third base. That runner never came around to score, and then Eddie Julien on a ball that had a little tricky hop at the end. Got in on Lamont Wade Jr. Well, he stayed under control, made a good feed, and Twins have done a nice job of picking up some big hits, scoring those runs, running the bases well, and then making some nice defensive plays.
Strike 1 to Mitch Haniger. Hit a fly ball to Wallner's first time up. And that was the play that Wallner made and delivered the throw home. 1-1. Haniger, Conforto, Sable, the 3, 4, and 5 batters for San Francisco. Out in front. Two and 1. 2-2 the count, I beg your pardon. Another 2-strike count. And Wallner comes in to make that catch one away. American military personnel serving overseas are watching this game on AFN, the American Forces Network. Welcome to those in countries around the world aboard naval ships at sea. Thank you for your service. Audra Martin, Justin Morneau, Dick Bramer bringing you Twins baseball. And for those of you watching around the world and have never been to Minnesota, it's like this 12 months out of the year here.
San Diego of the North.
Calm winds, moderate temperatures, green grass. 1-1.
Yeah, not a place where the latest snowfall that's occurred is on this date.
And that'll get into right field off the end of the bat. Conforto with a 1-out single.
Well, he's having a good series. Misplayed that ball right a little bit. Obviously not an easy play. That ball just kept sailing on him. Hard hit off the bat of Willie Castro, but he's come out swinging it.
After the game, the Giants will be packing and leaving for Milwaukee. I won't have a chance to ask Conforto. Maybe someone will, but I'm guessing he would tell whoever asked that ball knuckled at him and just took off. It's one thing to have one hit over your head, but that one, he wasn't in the same area code as where that ball ended up when he tried to intersect it.
Yeah, that's one thing outfielder to tell you. The line drive right at you is the hardest one to judge.
Swing on a foul.
And when you hit a ball so square, it takes all the spin off and it just knuckles, and you don't really know what it's going to do. That thing was dancing, and looked like at the end it just sailed on him. It's the kind of break you need, though. Break up a little short losing streak.
1-1. So if you're trying to catch something like that, you'd like a little spin rate.
Yeah, because it's a little more predictable. It's as easy to catch as it was to hit when Wakefield was throwing it, or R.A. Dickey, or any other guys who have thrown that knuckleball over the years. There's a reason those catchers use a garbage can lid size catching glove when those guys were pitching.
Back to the mound from his knees, and the ball not caught by Farmer, and everybody will be safe. Ryan had plenty of time to stand back up and deliver a throw, but he tried to throw it uphill on the slope of the mound from his knees.
Yeah, just a little mistake of trying to do a little too much here. This ball hit softly and kind of fooled him a little bit while coming back at you. You don't have much time to react. And caught it, had time, and that's what I always preached, is make sure you get one out. This is a good meeting right here. I like this. Pete Mackey coming out just to settle down. Obviously frustration when a play is not made.
Especially if you're the one that didn't make it.
Yeah, it's one thing to look at it and go, I'm going to pick up my fielders. It's another thing to go when you make the mistake and not beat yourself up about it.
A trip to the mound. And you, as I do, get here plenty early, and we see players practicing all sorts of unusual things that you might never see in a game. But that's not something any pitcher, I bet, has ever practiced. Throwing to second base from your knees.
Not sure you would ever want them to practice that.
So the tying run aboard, one out. Yastrzemski, who doubled high off the wall in right field his first time up. That came leading off the second inning. Ball one.
Yeah, pitch count climbing. We've kind of seen this. These Giants hitters have done a nice job of working some deep counts, making these starters work, and not allowing them to pitch into the seventh inning, as we've seen a lot this year.
Popped up. Short center. Taylor with the catch, with Farmer in the vicinity, 2 down. Ryan's gotten some big pop-ups when he's needed them, including here in the third inning, 2 down.
This is the difference between having a 4.5 ERA and having the 2.25 that he had coming into this start, is making those pitches when you need to, stranding those runners like he did in the first, second and third, nobody out. Here, another run scoring opportunity. Just limiting the Giants' ability to put the ball in play squarely.
Schmidt takes a strike. You touched on what has been very impressive, what the Giants have done in this series, and without having been at any or seen any of the games of their homestand when they went 5-1, I'm guessing they did a lot of the same things during their 5-1 homestand that they've done here. Fundamental baseball, put the ball in play, run the pitcher's pitch count up.
Yeah, bullpen not allowing many runs. I think that was one of the keys.
That's hit to left center field. Taylor chasing it and chasing it down. A little bit of a fist pump by Joe Ryan. He has stranded 6 runners through 3 innings, and it's 3-1. He's done a nice job stranding runners. Twin season ticket plans are on sale right now. You can choose one of the popular flex plans or enjoy the same great seats at every game in a variety of plan sizes. Plus, all plans include a food and beverage discount and other benefits. For information on Twin season ticket plans, go to twins.com/season tickets or text plans to 51655. Solano takes inside. Now you've got a pass, so you get into the games for free, but you'd be interested in the season ticket plan just for the food discount, right? Have you ever not eaten at a ball game? And I'm including your playing days.
I mean, rain delays were the worst, because just sit down there just pounding food out of boredom. But yeah, I mean, I'm a big popcorn guy, you know that.
Right, right. I don't know how they measure this, but most of us, I think, have a metabolism of like 4 or 5, and you've got your metabolism runs at a 10. How you're not 400 pounds, I don't know.
Thankful for that.
Down and away, 2-2.
I think it has something to do with chasing 5 kids all
That might be some part of it. Yep. Solano lined out to the second baseman wisely his first time up back in the first inning. Let's flip down the right field line, and it's twisting to the corner and no play.
You see, I mean, Conforto out there going after that ball. This is not an easy right field to play. You run out of room in a hurry. Those balls that are hit hard on the ground down the lines either get into the corner. Sometimes they kick off that half wall. You've got that overhanging right. You got a high wall where if it hits the wood part, it kicks harder. If it lands on the warning track, there's a lot of intricacies to play in this ballpark. We see Kepler play it very well. Taylor's adjusted to helping out his right fielders who go back on that ball. We saw Walden earlier. Just perfectly located slider right there. Not much you can do with that with 2 strikes.
There's Kirilloff, hit a warning track fly ball to right his first time up.
I was almost calling it as he took that swing. I thought he was going deep there. It's a matchup I like. You get a lot of change-up sliders coming into him.
2-0. DeSclafani with the pitch calm on his belt, I believe. Strike on the outside edge, 2-1. Concealing the device, punching a button, calling his own game, 3-1. Let's zoom in closer. Let's get the center field camera and zoom in. 3-2. There's enough controversy in the game. We don't need to add to it, I don't suppose.
Kirilloff taking his time out. Wasn't sure if that 3-1 pitch there was a strike. He threw him a 3-1 slider. Just clipped the outside corner. You got to get yourself back in your approach here now, going, okay, through that 3-1, what's he going to here? And he'll stay through the middle, I think.
And Kirilloff doesn't argue with umpires much at all. He's got to stay in the game. He has to stay in the game. Twins bench is too thin to begin with, and that is about as agitated as you will ever see Kirilloff, and he may play another 12 years in the big leagues.
Yeah, a little more animated even than that at bat in LA, where I think sometimes you take it, and you believe that pitches aren't strikes. But it's a very similar sequence to what he had in LA, where the one that was off the plate, these pitches both appeared to clip the box, but the ones in LA was off the plate call for a strike, and then inside off the plate call for strike 3. I'm sure that at bat felt very similar to him. It was a strike.
1-1 to Farmer. Joey Gallo's on the bench, but he's dealing with a hamstring issue, and they don't want to use him. Carlos Correa has a heel issue. He won't play, and so Rocco Baldelli couldn't get out there fast enough to try to get between the umpire and the player to make sure the player stayed in the game. 1-2. Farmer takes.
Yeah, I got Gardy a few ejections like that.
But you, being the honorable man that I know you are, you paid the fine then too, didn't you?
I think I should have. I can't remember if I actually did. Or Gardy remember. He had enough of them though, where he just kind of.
That's like having taxes taken out of your paycheck, right?
I think the auto debit for the league office.
3-2 to Farmer with Castro on deck. Irvin foul. On the ground and under the glove of Crawford, who's having a terrible time catching the baseball today.
Yeah, he's really fighting it. There's been wild pitch that was thrown. Trying to get Jeffers as the runner on the back door. Looked like they had him out. Here, this ball hopped on him, and as much as at the plate you can get yourself into some hitting slumps or some mindsets where you get yourself in trouble. It looks like he's really fighting it right now, and there's nothing worse than standing on the field going, I hope he doesn't hit it to me right now.
And now Castro's hit by a pitch. That'll bring Wallner to the plate with 2 men aboard. As Wallner stands in, try to use your memory bank and picture, as the Giants are going to make a trip to the mound here, try to picture Joey Gallo when he gets in the box and where he stands, and Wallner is a slightly smaller version of that, at least it appears to me. An open stance, spread out, but not to the degree of Gallo because he's not quite as big as Joey is. But it looks like, to me, like they have kind of the same hitting approach.
Power and then a little more power. They both get into their legs. I think Gallo gets spread out. Seems like back foot's on the back line of the box, and the front one's pretty close to the front. And not a lot of movement, though. Not a lot of movement towards the pitcher. They're just trying to let the ball travel to him. And when you're taller like they are, the more length you have in your stride, the more opportunities it gives for that opposing team pitcher to either throw fastballs up under your hands and take advantage of that drift. And Wallner, a little bit closer together to start, a little bit more open.
Both with prodigious power, and professionally, Wallner just a brief time in the big leagues, but both high strikeout guys. 1-0. Right down the middle. Here's Gallo's powerful swing, and he hooked one down the line. And Wallner looks similar. 1-1. On the ground. Wisely has it go under his glove. They're going to wave Farmer around. He will score, and the Giants are falling apart in the field.
These Sclafani's out there going, these are routine plays. It's hard not to get caught up in it. Get a little frustrated as a pitcher. When you're making pitches, you should have been out of this inning a long time ago. This ball had a little tricky topspin to it as well, but a play that definitely should be made at the major league level. If you're the Twins, this is the kind of break that you need.
Well, it can take further advantage of it here in the Jeffers at bat. He walked his first time up. DeSclafani's out there saying, look, my middle infielders can't catch ground balls. The umpire's playing pepper with me, throwing balls at me. Jeffers takes a strike. Castro with a big lead at third base.
Follows it up with his hardest pitch of the day. It's one way to let all your frustration out there. That was 95 miles an hour.
Breaking ball. Did he check? Nope. It's 0-2.
This is the portion of the game, where the Twins have been unable to put it away. We've seen this in the past. The bullpen's taken a lot of the heat for these leads that have evaporated over the last couple of weeks, but the inability to separate yourself between you and the other team when they give you opportunities like this, turning a 3-run lead into a 4 or 5, and then those add-on runs that they haven't been able to get much recently. This is a big at-bat right here.
2 strikes to Jeffers. And now a delayed steal. Here comes the runner. Castro is going to score. And now to third. Wallner advances. Will be another error charged. This one, I think, to Wisely for throwing. And the Twins, with a delayed double steal, get at least one more run.
A little snowball fight may happen here in the third inning, but a little aggressiveness on the base pass, and Wallner running with his head up. Take a look. He sees that throw coming down. He's going to be dead. They run the old double steal. A little dangerous head first slide into home by Castro, but this is not something you typically see at the big league level.
And now ball laced to right field, and Conforto catches that line drive, and the inning ends. A couple of unearned runs make it a 5-1 ball game.
fan with her own custom jersey. 96-year-old Marvel Wynn has been a longtime Twins fan, but today she is attending her very first game. And after learning of her recent cancer diagnosis, her neighbor Pat said, we got to get her to a Twins game, and the Twins agreed. And she is here with me today. Miss Marvel, welcome to Target Field. How has your day been going so far?
It's going just great. We knew always that the Twins would give it their all, and boy, they're doing all of that plus.
I think you may be their good luck charm.
It's the best day I've had in a long time.
Well, that's amazing. And Pat, you were the one that set all of this up. How special is it to be here with her?
Unbelievable. I mean, this is like a dream come true. It's definitely a God thing. I can't believe it. Everybody's been so good. KSTP, you guys, and the Twins and everything. I can't believe the whole thing's put together. It is just like a dream.
And Marvel, what do you enjoy most about watching Twins baseball?
What do about watching it here?
Or at home?
Okay. Well, I love it at home, and I love it here. I just like them all the time. I guess I don't really care. But this is really an experience that, just being here, the weather is absolutely perfect, and everybody's having a good time, I'm sure. It's always nice to be ahead. So, yeah, it's just an exciting experience. And I'm very grateful to just everybody who worked so hard to make it happen. That's really all I can say.
Well, Marvel, I also heard that your favorite player is Max Kepler, and I talked to Max about you today, and he wanted me to give you a message. He said hello, and thank you so much for your support. He also wants you to keep being strong, keep fighting, and he wants to see you back here at a game sometime soon, okay?
A message from Max Kepler.
Yeah.
I may have to ask you to repeat that, but I don't want to miss a single word. A message from Max Kepler.
Yep.
I like him so much because he shows all of his excitement and all of his dedication, and I really appreciate that. Of course, they're all wonderful, but I just pick up that enthusiasm and kind of like a mother's son.
Well, he is a big fan of yours, as we all are, so enjoy the rest of your day, all right?
Well, after we get done talking, you tell me about getting in touch or something?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Max. And I hope you're feeling better and you'll be in the game soon.
We all hope that. Thank you so much, Marvel. Enjoy the rest of the game, all right? Guys, I'll send it back up to you.
Oh, that was awesome. Thank you, Marvel. Thank you, Audra. That was tremendous.
Beautiful. Makes your day, doesn't it?
It does. 96 in her first Twins game. 1-1 to the batter Wisely. Crawford at first. High fly left field, got some carry back to the warning track. Castro on the edge of the track, now on the grass, makes the catch, and that ball almost came through the webbing. One down.
That ball hit a little higher than Julian's. Looked like the wind maybe held that up just enough. And a little sun out there.
Ooh. Well, he's juggling it.
Just a little for fun at the end.
But if he drops it, it's not an out.
No.
A little bit of wind from the left field pole to the right field pole. One down, Wade, the batter. On the subject of great Twins fans, I want to pass along a happy birthday to perhaps the greatest Twins fan in Climax, Minnesota, Janice Thoresen, celebrating a birthday today. Inside 2-0.
So that play was interesting there. They put in a rule, I don't know, 100 years ago, to stop outfielders from juggling the ball and rolling. So had he been tagging up there, as soon as it hits the glove, the runner can run, as opposed to the final part of the catch. So learned something I learned early in umpire school when I was a kid. You know, umpiring games when I was 12 or 13 years old, umpiring the little kids. But there's always little nuances in the game of baseball, and it's amazing that somebody thought of that a long time ago, that they would try that of catch the ball and then run it towards the infield while they're juggling it in their glove. It's a crazy game.
Still remember the play in Detroit. Denard Span running a ball down in the gap in left center field. Clearly had possession of the ball, but while he was still jogging after what I thought was a catch, he opened the glove, tried to extract the ball from the glove. And that one's past Julian. Crawford to second base. And another ground ball single for the Giants. Wade picking up his second hit. And it was ruled a non-catch, even though he had a ball secured in the glove, but he opened it, and with his jogging, the ball bounced out of the glove. Today's Coors Light beating the pressure, with the Giants applying more pressure to Joe Ryan. He's stranded 2 runners in each of the first 3 innings. And Ryan's had 7 straight quality starts. To center, routine it looks like. Retreating to the edge of the track, making the catch. Front runner will tag only, and the throw comes to second base. 2 down.
The Giants now 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. So Ryan
for 10, we're only 11 outs into the game.
It's amazing, isn't it? Joe Ryan's done a nice job of making pitches when he's had to. The Twins will see Berrios this weekend at Target Field. He's having a nice bounce back year. One of the 3 starters named for the upcoming series. Yeah, I mean, he's been reliable. He's been good.
80th pitch coming up. That, as much as anything, might keep him from getting a quality start here today. I don't know if he will be able to complete 6 innings. Swing and a miss by Haniger. A couple of flies to Waller in right field so far in his day. And Ryan's strike percentage down to 65%. Oh, 0-2. Leadoff walk here in the inning. Two strikes to Haniger. Just missed away. 1-2. Well, this is narrowcasting, not broadcasting, and I'll apologize for this in advance, but I just wished a happy birthday to Janice Thorson in Climax. And now I have to report to her that her grandson, Mitch Hested, media relations guru with the Twins, just missed a foul ball in the press box. The ball was hit right at him, and he clanked it. So, Janice, I hope you have a happy birthday, and I hope somehow Mitch can make it up to you. And Ryan again strands 2 runners on in the 4th inning. It's still 5-1. Brief 3-game skid. You can get out and play with the Minnesota Lottery. Say I'm in and scan the QR code for a chance to join the Minnesota Lottery's winner's circle and win $50 in scratch tickets. Michael A. Taylor leading off the 4th inning for the Twins. 1-0. Taylor tried to bunt a couple times and ended up striking out in the 2nd inning. Twins got 1 in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd. And I don't know whether the Twins got 2 in the 3rd or whether the Giants just gave them 2.
Either way, they scored 2.
I've never written this down for those of you keeping score at home. It was a weird summary of the inning. 2 runs, no hits, 3 errors, and 1 left. 2-1. That's a good take and a strike.
A little bit down.
Call the ball.
Well, if nothing, this game's been entertaining.
It has.
A lot of action.
And now a strike, 3-2. Twins 5 runs, 1 home run. Julien's leadoff home run, just the 5th home run allowed by DeSclafani this year. And Taylor thought that was a ball, but it was well inside our box for another strikeout.
Yeah, he maybe just threw him that 3-1 slider, maybe had slider on his mind there, and then came back with a 3-2 fastball.
Strikeouts really piling up for Michael A. Taylor. That's now 46 strikeouts in 122 at bats. Here is Julien.
He's been battling it. He did have the home run last night, but in between the home run, there's been some swing and miss, and then been caught looking a few times.
One and one. Julien with a solo home run to get the scoring started in the first inning, and then he lifted a sacrifice fly in the second. As Rocco Baldelli was going through the injury situation with the Twins, he said Max Kepler looks to be the first of the veteran players to come off the injured list. Inside, finally wanted it, but that will tell you that we'll be seeing a lot of Julien, I would think, at second base, because Polanco is not imminently returning. 2-2, and now 3-2.
Yeah, they're going to get 3 righties in the Blue Jays series, so you expect him to get some playing time there. The way he's swinging the bat today, looked like he's trying to earn it.
Julien with only 2 walks and 14 strikeouts. We expect over his major league career those numbers will be more even. Foul back.
And another catch by a fan.
What happened in the press box?
Hands of a writer.
Full count to Julien. Buxton on deck. And there he takes a walk. Grab your glove and favorite throwing partner to play Catch on the Field Saturday, May 27th at Target Field. Tickets at twins.com/catchfield. Here is Buxton, a single and a strikeout. Towering pop-up. And Sable held on to that mask a long time until he sensed where it was going to come down. And Buxton's gone on 1 pitch. That'll bring up Solano.
Buck want this one back. He hits pitchers as well as anybody when he gets a third look at him. That ball went a mile in the air.
Julien is a base stealer. Whether he is here with 2 outs in the 4th inning, we'll see. Solano's picked up a few doubles, but I think it's fair to say he's not exclusively a singles hitter, but he is the type of hitter where the Twins may try to take a chance here. And there is a ball lobbed into right center field. And Julien to third base on a single by Solano. So the inning will continue, and Kirilloff will come up with 2 men on base.
But to your point there, he takes off, he's on second base, he's able to score. A nice piece of hitting there. still in scoring position with Kirilloff coming up. So this is a situation, the catcher out front going through the signs. Are we going to throw through? Are we going to hold on to the ball? If you're Kirilloff, you have an opportunity there to say, I looked at the video, looked like those pitches just clipped. My bad. You know, you give them something to say, admit, you know, there's nothing players like more than when umpires admit they maybe missed one. So if he looked at it and saw it and said, okay, it looked like those pitches just were both on the edge, and I didn't think they were, and you get a little opening there to get back in the good graces maybe.
1-0 to Kirilloff. And players will find out right away, right? With the iPads in the dugout and all that. Maybe by the time he got back into the dugout, somebody from the video room said, no, they were strikes, whatever.
Yeah, or they were just off it.
Right.
The box isn't. There's a little leeway in the box.
Checked his swing.
Oh.
And the home plate umpire calls that a strike, and Kirilloff upset about that now too. And he's saying, hey, check with the guy at third. And Tishner has had quite enough, I think, of Kirilloff, and now he'll take his time out. The pitch wasn't a strike. One and two. That's a wild pitch popping straight up into the air. It hits the home plate umpire, and a run will come in from third.
There's been 2 runs by these guys that have come over from St. Paul in the last few days with aggressive base running, just reads on balls in the dirt. And this ball never got off the circle around home plate. As soon as that thing hits the ground, Julian's just thinking, I'm scoring right here, and gets caught up in Tishner's feet. But that's aggressive base running, and that's a great jump, and just that's all anticipation with the guy on the mound who throws a ton of off-speed stuff, a lot of sliders and splits. And great job right there.
And Kirilloff walks back to the dugout, striking out, but the Twins do add one more in the fourth.
Julian, a leadoff home run, wasting no time. His 3rd trip around the bases this season. Bottom of the second now after a double from Willie Castro. Matt Wallner follows in suit, 113 miles an hour off the bat to put the Twins up 2-1. Joe Ryan, maybe not his cleanest outing of the season, but still very effective. Getting out of a couple jams this afternoon. 6 hits, 2 walks, 1 strikeout, and the Twins take a 6-1 lead into the 5th, guys.
All right, 1-0 to the leadoff man for the Giants in their 5th inning, Conforto. 2-0, and Ryan soon to hit the 90 pitch mark, and he needs to get through the 5th to even qualify for a win. I would think his chances of pitching the 6th probably aren't real good at this point. Two and one.
Yeah, especially in fact, you got the off day tomorrow, so there's no need to try and stretch them out. You know, get them up to 110. If you don't have an off day, then you maybe are looking for a little more length.
Pretty confident that Jhoan Duran's going to pitch today. He's only pitched twice in the last 2 weeks. One of them was a 2-inning outing, but he's at a point where he needs to pitch regardless of what the score is. 2-2 to Conforto, then Sable and Yastrzemski in the Giant 5th inning. And a strikeout. And for Ryan, that's just his 2nd of the afternoon.
It took him 4 2/3 to get the first one, and then the second one comes right after that. I think more than anything, the fact that he's been able to weave his way in and out of these runners on base, runners in scoring position, made pitches when he's needed to, and give the Giants credit as well, fouling off a lot of close pitches, taking some close ones.
That's a foul ball, and beyond the tarp and out of play. Sable 0 for 2 did reach in a fielder's choice in the 3rd inning. 1-2. One and two. And you reference it, the Twins have an off day tomorrow. And they open up a 3-game series with Toronto on Friday. First look at the Blue Jays. Who ended a 5-game skid yesterday. This one deep down the left field line. Still 1-2.
Well, hopefully the Blue Jays used up all their runs last night, putting up 20 on the Rays.
White Sox trying to get back to the 500 mark, still have a long way to go, but they're leading Cleveland in Cleveland 6-0 in the 7th inning. One and two from Ryan. Julien scoops it up, flips off target, sidearm throw, and the Twins commit their second error. And Mike Yastrzemski will bat with a man aboard.
Yeah, you wonder if he got mixed up at who his target was. Joe Ryan over there, Kirilloff there. Fields it cleanly. Looked like this was going to be a tough hop, and then.
Yeah, I wonder that. Ryan coming over there in the vicinity, and as Julien picked himself up, there were kind of two guys in his sight line. At any rate, he ended up throwing between them, and Yastrzemski tries to turn around a fastball. Strike one. One and one. Popped up foul. It'll reach the seats. 1-2. Yastrzemski nearly hit a home run leading off the second inning. Hit it high off the wall in right center field. Brock Stewart getting loose. Really, nothing's been easy, and now the 5th inning error here will extend the inning beyond where it should, and Ryan needs to complete the inning to qualify for a win. I doubt that there's anybody in the Twins dugout that's too concerned about that, but Ryan likes to pick up wins. The strikeout there should help. And now Schmidt.
You wonder how much more he's going to be extended after this batter. And obviously a big pitch there. He's thrown over 100 pitches 3 times so far this year with 102 his season high 2 starts ago.
Schmidt 1 for 2, and he takes ball 1. Back in the zone with the off day stands to reason, unless the Twins have other plans. Everybody will have an extra day of rest between starts. Foul back. They're closing in on us. We just had one over to our left a little bit. Now that one to the right a little bit. Maybe we'll get one in here.
I hope not.
1-2. That's to the right field corner. Wallner has no play. And a fan down in the right field corner makes a great catch.
That's like 5 barehanded catches by the fans today. And I think there's been 5 total errors on the field.
Very nice catch. Ryan's season high in pitches thrown. This will be number 106. Prior high was 102. Trying to pick up his 7th win in 8 decisions. Gave the Twins a quality start in Cleveland, but he ended up being tagged with the loss. 2 runs allowed in 6 innings. There's the end of the inning, very likely the afternoon, and Ryan has completed 5 with a 5-run lead. Twins. Grand Casino's story of the game: is it possible for a player to win a league MVP before Memorial Day?
It's been incredible. I mean, he's doing something that, when you're company with Rickey Henderson for anything, you're doing something right. Rickey Henderson, Hall of Famer, one of the most electric players to ever play the game, and then Acuna, on top of it, averaging over 400 feet on the home runs that he's hit. So he's a player who can do it all, rebounding very nicely from that knee injury from a couple of years ago. He's feeling comfortable running again. Thankfully, he's in the National League.
Liner to left, hit right to Haniger, and Farmer is a quick first out in the 5th inning. Might win a batting title, speaking of Acuna, if Luis Arraez ever cools off. Acuna hitting .337, that's 3rd in the league. He's got Diaz of Colorado ahead of him at .345, and then Arraez starting play today at .371. Short center, 2 pitches, 2 outs here in the Twins' 5th.
Yeah, the first one, Farmer hit that ball 100 miles an hour. So, you know, no looking at that one feeling like that was a mistake. He went up there and got something and hit it hard here. Castro breaks his bat. If you're going to swing there, it's got to be something you're looking for. That'll happen from time to time. He really knows that.
Waller takes a strike on the outside corner. An RBI double and a run scored in the 2nd. Then he reached on the Wisely error, one of 3 errors in the inning.
Maybe the most impressive play for me was the base running play. The ball in the dirt, read and get himself to 3rd. Now he uses his timeout. I've seen a couple of aggressive base running plays. All these young kids that have come over here from St. Paul.
Waller told me yesterday hadn't been swinging it real well, but he felt it was coming. His swing was coming back together toward the end of his stint, most recent stint in St. Paul, and sure enough cracked a double his first time up today. Two and two.
See if they go into the old pattern, follow this up with a changeup.
Lifted to left center, and Haniger in the gap. Ends a quick 1-2-3, bottom of the 5th. I'd like another inning, but I think he knew he was going to be taken out.
Might be the best thing I've seen all day. Now we obviously are only guessing what he's saying and what this conversation is, but there's no way he was going back out there after 107 pitches. High traffic in every inning, battled his way through it, and I think when he looks back on it, might be as proud of this start as anyone he's had. I mean, he fought his way through that entire thing, threw a ton of pitches, dealt with foul balls, high pitch counts, a lot of base runners, but made all the pitches when he needed to. It really was an impressive outing. He easily could have given up 5 or 6 in that outing, but he did a tremendous job of just grinding it out when he didn't have his complete control that we're used to seeing him have.
First ball lined to center. Taylor will look up and hope for a bounce, and he'll get one. Crawford to second base. It's a leadoff double against Brock Stewart here in the 6th.
Crawford struggling in the field defensively, but coming up with some good at-bats, a couple walks and now a double.
So now Wisely will bat. Lots gone wrong with the Twins bullpen lately, but Stewart has been a pleasant surprise. Third of an inning last night, but then he ended up issuing the bases loaded walk.
Brought into a pretty tough situation for a reliever. Full adrenaline, running out of that bullpen and trying to harness that control. Was able to get an out when he needed to.
High end velocity, upper 90s. Wisely's 0 for 2, a ground ball and a fly ball. Missing 2 and 1. Bunt up the third baseline, barehanded. Safe at first. Bunt single for Wisely to fill first base. And Crawford advancing to third.
Well, Solano does the only thing he can. Tries to barehand this ball. This ball is rolled out there about as perfectly as you can roll it out there. Bat out front, sets the angle, and then lets the ball just hit it. Too many third basemen around the game are going to make that play.
It's the third time in 6 innings where the Giants have started an inning with a pair of hits. Didn't score in the first, scored their run in the second, and now first and third, nobody out here, and Lamont Wade Jr. at the plate. Swing and a miss. In this skid where the Twins have struggled going back to the start of the last road trip, bullpen has been the biggest culprit. Twins with a chance to win every game they've lost in the last week or so with a late inning lead. So here we are in the 6th inning, and now 12 outs to get.
It seems like almost every one of those has been a one-run ball game or been very close. This one a little different feel, but still don't want to let him back in.
2 and 1. Stewart thought that might have hit the outside edge.
Kind of said earlier, you have had opportunities in these games to put them away, make it a little less stressful outings for the bullpen. Just haven't created that separation.
3 and 1. Twins are 2 and 6 in that stretch, starting with game 1 at Dodger Stadium, and they could very, very easily be 6 and 2. And I don't know if that's any consolation or whether that adds to the frustration.
Glass half empty, glass half full.
Yeah.
With you though, I mean, Dodger Stadium is a tough place to play. I mean, they beat Kershaw there, who hadn't lost at home in 2 years. That's the game they win in the series, but battled back in one of them. Had the lead in all 3, and very few teams can go in there and sweep the Dodgers, and they had that opportunity. So I think you take some positives out of that.
And now a 5-pitch walk, and they're loaded with nobody out here in the 6th. The Giants have left 9 men on through 5 innings, and now they've filled the bases immediately here in the 6th. A word now from Arby's.
For just $4, 2 of your dreams can come true.
Stewart 12 1/3 innings, only 4 hits, but now 11 walks, 3 of them intentional in the extra inning games that he's pitched in. Moran and De Leon getting loose. We mentioned that Jhoan Duran will almost certainly pitch today, but we're just in the 6th inning.
Yeah, you got to give him the ball. You want to give him the ball with a lead. Joe Ryan, very effective in his start, able to work his way out of these messes like Brock Stewart has got himself in here. I love that bunt by Wisely, though. You're down by a bunch, hit at the bottom of the order, 172 coming into this one. Just knowing your role, knowing the situation, you need base runners to be able to get back in this thing, and he saw an opportunity to lay one down and get himself on base and just help add to this run scoring threat.
Strike one always helps. Estrada arguably the most dangerous Giant hitter right now. One and one. Well, you'd like to think that 6-1 lead, 6th inning. This is not a high leverage situation, but when the bases are loaded and nobody out, it becomes just that.
I think there's something about being a catcher in the big leagues. You know, you're around for a while, but you have to know each one of your pitchers. And you have to know if a guy isn't able to throw his main pitch over for a strike, what's the next one you can go to? Is it the slider? Is it the change, the split, or whatever it is? And I think that's part of the challenge. Any offense you get from a catcher always seems like a bonus, especially if they're a good defensive catcher, because, okay, Stewart comes in, not locating that fastball the way you like. What do we go to as the secondary pitch that's going to get us back in a counter, that's going to get us strike one without getting hit hard? And it's a hard thing. A catcher has to know every guy on the staff and then the guys that come in out of the pen.
Breaking ball gets a strikeout, and that's the first out, leaving the bases full.
Let's see right there. If that's an 0-0 pitch, that's nowhere near the zone. He doesn't get the strike, right? So you have to know what's the out pitch. What's he going to be able to finish a hitter off with? But how are we going to get ahead and get ourselves in a position to get a chase on a pitch like that? And good meeting. And before that, go out there and get him settled in and throw strike one, and then sets the tone for the at bat.
Haniger, the batter. Fastball, ball one.
And on the other side of it is an offense. Okay, what does he throw for strikes? What's his highest strike rate with? What's he like to throw 0-0? What's he like to throw if he goes 1-0? What am I looking for when I'm standing in the batter's box?
1-1.
And you can be looking for 97, but it does make it any easier to hit. Up and away located like that. Just threw it past him.
'98 on the outer edge, gets a swing and a miss. Two and two. Pop up. Infield fly rule should be called. Ball drifting with the wind. Julian with the catch, and Stewart's gotten a big second out.
Ball was a mile in the air, almost as high as that one Buxton hit. Julian didn't look exactly comfortable under this one, but he made the play. But you're battling the sun right above home plate here in the day game. Bring Rocco out.
Giovanni Moran will come in to try to leave the bases full and retire Michael Conforto, who's had the biggest hits for the Giants in this series, and he'll have a chance to deliver another big hit here in the 6th inning, but he'll have to do it against the lefty. And Twins first of 3 Friday night. Looking forward to our first look at the Toronto Blue Jays. Conforto will hit with the bases loaded and 2 down, and the Twins should feel a little uneasy seeing him come up with men on base.
Yeah, he's been able to drive the ball to the opposite field. Too many left-handed hitters are comfortable in this park doing that. This one here was impressive. He turned that spin around, that ball just jumped. When you leave to the opposite field, that tells you your swing is usually in a pretty good place. He's been the biggest threat so far, the difference maker in this series. Won him 2 ball games with his bat.
Moran will try to get him. Dribble toward second base. Julien has it. 1 pitch, the 3rd out. And the Giants fill him up early and leave him full at the end. Mark, home, tailored for you. Twins fans here being entertained today. It has been an entertaining game. And the Twins are leading 6-1, but they are not leading comfortably 6-1 because the Giants keep putting guys on base. So far, keep failing to bring them in. They got a double, single, and a walk to fill the bases with nobody out, but didn't score.
Yeah, this is a game that you look back on the Giants. Did we lose this game or did we give it away with a combination of the defense and the run scoring opportunities? I mean, you have a runner on 3rd, less than 2 outs. You have to get at least one of those guys in. And they failed multiple times in this game to do that. 2 for 14 with runners in scoring position through 6 innings. That's really hard to do.
Foul back.
And one of those hits was a bunt. So.
Well, as a guy who's watched 49 Twins games already this year before today, it's nice to see the other team do that with the bases loaded.
It just goes to show you how difficult it is, and those pitchers get harder. They throw their best stuff when they have a chance of giving up runs. So give Twins hitters or Twins pitchers credit. Defense has made some nice plays on top of it. Julien throwing a runner out at home, but there's been plenty of opportunities given to both sides by the defenses. Twins are in a good spot right now.
Jeffers on a half swing, but that's strike 2. Taylor will follow, then Julien. Twins trying to take the suspense out of it. Suspense is one thing. Here's a drive to left field. That ball is hit a ton. Goes screaming into the facing of the second deck.
Well, fooled him on the 3-1 slider. Tried to sneak that 3-2 sinker in there. Jeffers turned on this, almost knocked the second deck down. This ball was 110 miles an hour off the bat. That got out of here in a hurry. And just as in the first inning when the Giants left those runners out there with less than 2 outs, they stranded 3 again last inning, and all of a sudden Twins come right back, and that'll be the end of the night for DeSclafani.
Just 1 run, but a disheartening run given what the Giants did on the top of the inning, or what they didn't do rather in the top of this inning. They didn't score, and the Twins leadoff man hits a home run. DeSclafani, who's had only given up 4 home runs all year long, gave up 2 today, and just was not his day on many levels. So now the Twins will get into the Giant bullpen, leading 7-1 in the 6th. Ryan Jeffers hitting a solo home run. It's now 7-1. The Furniture Mart box score. Kind of what the Twins have been missing production pretty much up and down the lineup. The only guys who haven't scored runs have driven some in, or at least gotten on base. The only guy who really's had a frustrating day at the plate, well, I guess Taylor, but Kirilloff as well. Michael A. Taylor 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, and he swings and misses. Strike 1. Ryan Walker giving him 3 hits in his major league debut against the Marlins, but got the win. Tough guy, I would think, for a right-handed batter to face because of his delivery.
Yeah, a little funkiness, cross body, really tough angle. Way over on the first base side of the rubber, and then stepping all the way across, looking like that ball's starting right at you as a right-handed hitter.
You can see where his front foot lands, and you're right, way over on the first base side of the rubber, and his stride is actually toward his dugout and not home plate. You can see the mark there on the mound. And Taylor with a swing and a miss, 1 away. The advantage, well, one of several, I suppose, is you don't have to worry about stepping in another pitcher's landing spot on the mound, because who else in Major League Baseball lands his front foot there?
Yeah, not many guys. I'm not sure why more guys don't go to something like this, trying to create a little more deception.
Between Tyler Rogers, the submarining right-hander, and Walker, there is some quirkiness in the Giant bullpen. And strike two. You can see to the, as we're looking at it, to the right of his landing spot, called third strike. And Julien is out number two.
Not too often you see a guy throwing that hard from that spot either. Way cross body. Pitch 96 miles an hour. Usually if you're creating that type of deception, you're doing something different in your livery, it's because you've had trouble getting somebody out and you need to do something different. Well, you have plenty of arm strength.
Breaking ball to Buxton, strike one. We were talking at breakfast today about how the art or the act of pitching is so unnatural and doesn't come easy to the human body. And then you look at this guy and you begin to wonder whether Walker might not need a walker by his 40th birthday. Man, that's got to be hard on your hips. I mean, his hips. What?
Can't talk, I'm laughing.
I mean, his hips have to rotate.
I mean, we've had all kinds of bad puns up here in this series. We got Wisely making it easy for us. I mean,
there's a strike.
I mean, I use the giant pitcher line.
Yeah, yeah.
This is comedy at its finest.
2-2.
Oh boy. All we need is somebody to chime in with the drum.
Low, and the at bat still alive for Buxton. And Walker has a good inning, striking out the side as he walks off the mound. Get the lead 7-1. Get ready for date night and evening in Legends Landing, a new all-inclusive section at Target Field that has everything you need to create the perfect date night, from stunning skyline views to all-inclusive food and beverage. Give your significant other and yourself a night out to remember by visiting twins.com/Legends Landing. Moran got the last out of the sixth. And see how Pete Mackey and Rocco Baldelli play this. Whether Moran will face two more batters here in the seventh. For those of you who are unaware, we talk about the 3-batter minimum, but that requirement can go away if a new pitcher starts the next half inning. For instance, the Twins weren't obligated to send Moran back out there to start this inning, but once they did, he still has to face 3 batters. Now, did I clarify that, or did I add to the confusion?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Sable using his timeout here.
It may further speed up the game if they just made that automatic. Hitter gets 2 strikes. Make it an automatic timeout so you can save a second or two from the hitter asking for it, because they all seem to ask for it after the second strike. Pop straight up in the air. And Jeffers circling around it. And that Ball actually came back into the field of play. Now the wind has changed. The wind is blowing in right now. Looking at the big flags on top of the seating area, and I believe I was right. I thought that ball was hit straight up in the air, but it looked like the wind pushed it into the seats.
Yeah, especially the way Jeffers circled it. Felt like he got around it to where he expected that ball to come down and drifted about 20 feet away from landing on the field of play.
Giants leadoff batters have been retired twice today. And the last thing Moran wants to do is to issue a leadoff walk to Sable. Another lefty hitting behind him, but there's the leadoff walk. And it'll be Mike Yastrzemski coming up with a man aboard. And a lot of the late run scoring that has cost the Twins ball games here over the last week or so has come in the 7th inning.
Walks and setting up innings. I think it was a point I thought I was making correctly last year. Said if the starters go deeper, then it'll take pressure off the bullpen, and they should be more effective if they're called on, less often. But starters have done their job. They pitch deeper into games. We haven't had to go to the bullpen. Well, almost a full more inning pitched per start this year compared to last, and it just hasn't worked out that well on the bullpen end of things. Where they've struggled a little bit. They have done a good job. Yesterday was the first time they've blown a lead when they've been leading by 3, but this middle relief, getting the ball to Duran, there's been somewhat of a struggle in that regard.
Flores hitting in what was Yastrzemski's spot.
Duran's been one of the or maybe the most valuable reliever over the last 2 years, or his time in the big leagues. But this is where the Twins have struggled, is getting these outs, not allowing runs, not allowing teams either to get back into games.
So much of the damage done has been with the free passes. On a miss. Outman hit the big grand slam for the Dodgers about a week ago, but it was the walks in front of the home run that were the most damaging. 1-2 to Flores. Schmidt will follow. Blocked by Jeffers.
It's not the solo home runs that kill you. It's the ones that you give up and you walk the 2 guys in front of the home run. That really, we saw that in game 1 on Monday night, where couple runners get on, and then Fordo hits a big 3-run home run, and that ended up being the difference in the game. Twins hit a home run in that game, but it was a solo home run, so really got to control the damage.
There's a strikeout. Now Casey Schmidt will bat.
There's so much if involved. If he could just get ahead, if he could just throw strikes, because that changeup is so good. Throws it to right-handed and left-handed hitters.
And then,
but even there, it's a good example, right? Like he's 0-0, now he's 1-0, and if he throws the same pitch in an 0-1 count, it's got a more chance to get a swing and a miss than he does in a 1-0. If he goes back out there again, probably takes it and kind of backs into a hitter's count.
1-1.
Sorry, you were.
Well, I just, the changeup is good, but he throws 94, 95, and that's what sets up the changeup, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one plays off of the other, and you have to keep hitters honest. Otherwise, they just sit back and wait for that changeup.
The arm speed looks the same. If you just looked at Moran and didn't follow the flight of the ball, you wouldn't be able to tell which pitch he threw.
Yeah, the way he sells it, the way he throws it with conviction. Look, he's got maybe more trust in that than he does his fastball. We see him go to it on a lot of big occasions where he needs a big pitch, he needs a strikeout, he needs a ground ball, and he goes to that.
It's all walk on a pair of strikeouts.
That was the same pitch he threw 0-0, but because he was 1-2, he got a chase.
Now this from Quick Trip. Now he'll face Crawford, who's reached all 3 times, a couple of walks and a double. Line foul. Twins trying to have a comfortable win, acknowledging that no lead is comfortable given what has happened over the last week. But the Twins are just 4-10 in 1-run games. A tough 1-run loss last night. Moran trying to get his 4th out, and presumably someone fresher and different would pitch the 8th inning. Maybe Duran the 9th. It's De Leon getting loose. Two and one, thinking fastball. Instead, he got a changeup. Strike 2. Caleb Thielbar, the more veteran left-hander reliever, had a bullpen yesterday. We'll have another bullpen Saturday in the hopes that he'll be with the club maybe by the end of the month. I don't know. Check swing roller early June.
Yeah, Rocco said not set in stone yet, but more than likely going to have to go out on a rehab assignment and pitch in a game or 2 just to make sure he's ready to go.
Caleb said he didn't want to get back and display any rust. It's not just for the team to make sure he's healthy, but also for the pitcher to sharpen things up a little bit in the minor leagues.
Yeah, there's a big difference between pitching down to the bullpen, throwing simulated situations, or even facing live hitters on the field, to having real adrenaline in a game and somebody with a different uniform on. A lot of times when you throw to your own guys and throw to hitters, the thing in the back of your mind is, I do not want to hit this guy, and it can affect how you attack those hitters or go through those situations.
3 strikeouts after a leadoff walk, and we head to the home half of the 7th. Leading 7-1. They'll hit now in the bottom of the 7th inning. Twins with some home run power, and again today Julian and Jeffers hitting the home run. Statcast powered by Google Cloud.
Yeah, only one of those under 400 feet, but the exit velocity, the benefit of hitting the ball hard and elevating it. Twins have done a good job in this game, squaring up more balls, hitting more balls over 100 miles an hour than they did the first 2 games combined. So a lot of things you like about what the offense has done in this game.
Solano will lead things off, and there's strike 1. Solano singled his last time up. We talked earlier about the Giants and how they're on a good run right now because they have, in part, because they have not relied on the home run so much to score their runs. And granted, the Giants gave the Twins a couple of runs in the 3rd inning, but the home runs have been solo home runs today. So that's 5 runs scoring on non-home runs. 1 and 2 to Solano. Foul back. I don't know. I mean, when I say that, when other announcers you listen to say that, are you insulted because you were a home run hitter?
No.
No, okay. You can see how the Giants are lined up defensively. Wisely now in center field. It's a foul ball. Chased by Wade, but no play. You were also a doubles hitter and a singles hitter, and that's how you win a league MVP, by not just hitting home runs.
Like, I always wanted to be a good hitter that hit home runs. It was
right.
That's the way I'd looked at it. You know, it's more important for me to. And there was, I think you you play to however you're coached or whatever you're told is important. I was told when I was in the minor leagues, my job hitting in the middle of the order, the most important thing was RBIs, was driving in runs. It was never talked to about on base percentage. I was talked to more about slugging percentage. And so that was kind of my focus. And how am I going to drive in the most runs? It's by being able to take the singles when they're only singles available and using the entire field and just do all those things. And I think if I came up now, I might be encouraged to try and pull the ball more, try and hit the ball in the air more. So it's kind of how you're coached and what's encouraged.
Well, the one that actually touched the box was ball 3, and the one that was high out of the box was called strike 3. Solano gone, and that'll bring up Kirilloff.
You might have had an argument there.
Kirilloff has had some arguments. He's struck out his last 2 times up, once looking. Had an issue with Todd Tishner, the home plate umpire, in that at bat. And then he had a check swing in the middle of his strikeout in the 4th inning and had an issue with Todd Tishner with that. He wanted Tishner to ask the third base umpire instead. Tap to the right side. Great leaping play by Wade, and he finds Walker at the bag. 2 down.
We saw him make a play very similar to this last night. Went to his right, ranged a good distance, and this wasn't one of those balls that you time and end up diving for. He had to leave his feet to be able to field this one and the one he caught last night. Then he got caught in between. Do I flip it underhand? Do I throw it overhand? Made the right choice. Nice play.
Farmer 0 for 3, lined out to left his last time up. There a strike. Checked his swing, or did he? He did. White Sox beat the Guardians 6-0. So if you're of the belief that Cleveland will be the most serious threat to the Twins in the division this year, the Twins have a chance to pick up a game on Cleveland. Farmer takes ball 3. The Twins have played, in my opinion, like the best team in a bad division. And I think what we're all looking for, because we think it's there, we would like them to play like they're the best team in a good division. The talent is there. Farmer with a drive to center. But Wisely is there to make the catch, and the inning ends. So maybe with a game like this, we'll start seeing better play by the Twins. Twins have had some fun. They've got a 7-1 lead. Jose De Leon will come in and pitch the 8th inning. De Leon has pitched in 2 other ball games, both on the road trip. Each time pitching an inning and 2/3, each time giving up a run or 2. 2 runs in his Twins debut, 1 run in his second game against the Angels. Missing outside, ball 1. Half swing and a strike, 1-1. One and 2. Day off for the Twins tomorrow. Then the Blue Jays start a 3-game series Friday night. And next couple of weeks, Even though it's the end of May, early June, but the next couple of weeks really will test this Twins team as to how good they are. And a strikeout for De Leon to get his afternoon started. It's now 4 straight Giants down on strikes.
Yeah, tough part of the schedule coming up is, what was that? Fastball threw it right by him, right above the belt. The Blue Jays with a couple of series, and go to Tampa, Toronto on the same road trip. You've got a trip to Houston coming up. You've got tests.
Next homestand will be made up with the 4 games against the Guardians. Those for the foreseeable future. This year, probably next year, going to be really important games. Cleveland caught and passed the Twins last year to get to the playoffs.
And less opportunity. You'll see it quite frequently in September over the years. You play a team 6 times, 9 times, you got a chance to make up ground, and you can have a 4 or 5 game deficit that can disappear in a hurry, as we saw quite a few times when it was chasing down Detroit or Chicago within the division.
Former Twin Taylor Rogers looks like he'll pitch in the bottom of the 8th. 2-2 to Wade. And now De Leon comes out of the pen and picks up 2 quick strikeouts. We'll bring up Estrada. Starting Friday, the Twins will play the Jays, Houston, Cleveland, the Rays, and the Jays.
It's not like the stretch leading up to this has been a walk in the park either.
No.
Dodgers, Padres, Angels are playing well. Faced Ohtani. There's a lot of, I think the balanced schedule does this as well. We talked about it last night. You're going to play the first place team and the second place team from every division this year, as opposed to just one of those divisions in the National League.
Liner to center and a base hit. Estrada has his 2nd hit of the ball game. Coaches in any sport have always said it for decades, centuries maybe. It's not who you play, it's when you play them. Twins are done with the Yankees, and it looks like the Yankees
are starting to play.
Like the Yankees again.
Well, Judge has taken off just a little bit of time in the injured list, and then all of a sudden he got healthy, and he's been doing exactly what he does, carrying that ball club for stretches.
In a week, the Twins will be done with the Astros for the season. And while the Astros are in 2nd place in their division, trying to chase Texas, Dusty Baker's teams usually are better in the 2nd half of the year than the first. They're in a more competitive division this year. So I don't think the Twins would want to face the Astros in the 2nd half of the year, and they won't have to. 2 strikes and now 3. And De Leon has a good inning, giving up a 2-out single, and that's it. Reminder that Target Field's a great place to spend time with the people who are important to you. Groups of 20 or more are eligible for discounts on tickets, and per ticket handling fees are eliminated. Start organizing your group by visiting twins.com/groups or text groups to 51655 for more information. Good to see Taylor Rogers back on the mound here at Target Field, albeit in a different uniform. One of my favorite Twins over the years. Had some good years for the Twins, and you see ERA of nearly 5 since he left the Twins. And who would have thought that when the Twins made the trade on opening day, it was supposed to be opening day, but the game the Twins had was rained out that day, trading Rogers to San Diego, that the other player the Twins traded would have the most impact, Brent Rooker. Now, Rooker had to bounce around a little bit. San Diego, Kansas City, and now flourishing with the Oakland A's. And Emilio Pagan and Chris Paddock coming to the Twins. But Rooker just seemed like he had, too many people in front of him in the Twins organization. We were wondering what the Padres were going to do with him. And then Rooker never really got a chance in Kansas City, but now is getting that chance in Oakland.
Yeah, really playing like an all-star, driving the ball in the ballpark. A ton of home runs there. You just never know what's going to happen in this game. You can try and predict as much as you want, but give somebody an opportunity, you never know who's going to take off. This is the kind of situation you want to see Taylor Rogers in. 7-1, not closing down a game against his former team.
Chopper toward third. And Castro's going to beat it out. Up 7-1, doesn't matter. If you smell a hit, go get it.
Yeah, why not? A hit's a hit. Is a hit is a hit. I feel like there used to be a lot of these in the Metrodome when you pound that ball off the plate. It seemed like Christian Guzman just hit it about 80 feet in the air and then jog into first base.
Not only can I still see the image, I can hear the sound of the Metrodome ground crew compacting the dirt in front of home plate.
Home field advantage.
Much like we see them do on the mound now. And I don't know whether it was at the behest of Kirby Puckett, but I know he benefited more than anybody else from the dirt in front of home plate being much like your driveway is at home. I'm assuming you have a blacktop or a concrete driveway. Runner goes with the Twins up 6 runs. Castro takes off, but he'll have to retreat. Some of those high bouncers were pounded off of home plate, but some were beaten into the dirt in front of home plate as well.
Yep. And you had the turf on top of it, the old turf, and even the new turf was springy.
And Wallner with a take on 0-2. There's another one. And Wallner is thrown out. Doesn't run quite as well as Castro. A swinging bunt, sending Castro to second base.
Yeah, this one hit just a little bit harder as well. Or a little further out front. Got to Flores. Nice barehanded play. Wallner was smelling a hit there as well, but big leagues, you see that play made more often than not when that guy goes for it with a bare hand. There's plenty of experience up the middle as well, so he's got good hands.
Weird to pitch against your former team and really weird to pitch to your former catcher.
Yeah, you figure he should have an advantage. He knows everything that you've got, that you throw. Sometimes you can overthink it.
And now to third base. Willie Castro tried to steal second, and now he does steal third. Surprised that they're running the bases as aggressively as they are here in the 8th inning.
I'm on the fence here.
Okay.
But you hold them, you're still playing the game. This game's still not completely out of reach. It's comfortable, but not like it's 12-1.
2-0, infield in, and a strike. Juan Duran, as advertised, looks like he's going to get the 9th inning inside. And that brushes. Or did it hit him, or is it just ball 4? Looked like they are calling a hit by pitch, right?
He pointed down to first, saying he was hit.
So Jeffers will reach. And Taylor will have a chance to put the ball in play. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts.
They're after an old kneecap there. This copyright telecast is presented by authority of Minnesota Twins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Taylor 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts.
This is a situation you like to have to get your mind off of what's happened before, just trying to get something to put the ball in play and get it to the outfield grass and see if you can score a run here. Simplify the approach, simplify the plan, look for something out over, get your arms extended.
Well, Taylor's pulled, extremely pulled, 2 pitches from Rogers. And the 4th strikeout of the day for Michael A. Taylor. In his career, Taylor struck out not quite once every 3 at-bats through his days with Washington, Kansas City, and even at that rate it's up a little bit this year. So Rogers trying to strand 2 runners here. Julien will bat. 2 runs scored. 2 runs batted in. Way outside. Twins came into the game with a team batting average of .229, which isn't very good. A year ago on this date, the team batting average was .251. Now, a big part of that, the difference, can be explained with the trade of Luis Arraez. But in Julien, the Twins have a player similar to Arraez, but with more pop. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think the ability to draw walks, strike out a little bit more than Louis did.
Probably not going to win a batting title, but he does use the whole field. We've seen that. He can drive the ball with authority to the opposite field.
We saw that today.
3-1. Buxton on deck. Hit hard to right field, but making the catch out there is Conforto. A sinking line drive wraps up the 8th inning.
Leading things off, not a better way to do it. His 3rd home run of the season, also his first hit here at Target Field for a 1-0 Twins lead. Joe Ryan had to get himself out of a few jams this afternoon, but he ends his day with just the 1 run allowed on 5 hits, had a pair of walks and 4 strikeouts on the day as well. Bottom of the 6th, the Twins already up 6-1, but they add another one. Ryan Jeffers working the count full and then waves goodbye for his 2nd home run of the season. 7-1 Twins now here in the 9th, guys.
All right. And De Leon out there to try to wrap things up here. It isn't Joan Duran pitching. Strike, now ball.
Around, still down there throwing, but more now just getting some work in before the off day.
One and two. know you don't have enough going on in your life, so you have an off day and I have an off day tomorrow. So tomorrow on your off day, I want you to find out the last time the Twins stole both third and home plate in the same game.
Can I ask Kevin?
I don't know whether Kevin has an off day tomorrow or not. Usually Thursday's got to mow his mom's grass. I don't know if he'll have time. Probably have to go back to the Rod Carew days, I'm guessing.
And what do you do it 9 times 1 year?
8 Ty Cobb, and so now the Twins are going to make the call here with De Leon facing Conforto and striking him out. Or the yeah, it was Conforto, 1 down. And De Leon came in the 8th inning and got 4 outs, all on strikeouts. And Duran will come in to try to get the last 2 outs. Pitchers, and Rocco Baldelli explaining, where the Twins are at right now, missing some of their key left-handed batters. Max Kepler might be available to rejoin the club soon, but don't know if it'll be for the next series. But Gausman, Bassett, and Barrios, and Lopez will pitch in the series as well. So we look for an entertaining series. 2 teams with very similar records. The difference is the Twins are in first place in their division and the Blue Jays in last place in theirs. Not for a full inning, but hoping to get the last 2 outs from Jhoan Duran. Swing and a miss.
Talking to Glenn Perkins about these types of outings, when you come in and it's not a safe situation, you're used to having that extra bit of adrenaline. You see it so often. Closers, guys who pitch at the end of the game, come into these situations and seem to wobble a little bit. Hopefully that's not the case. Nope.
104.
Seems like he's doing just fine.
I mentioned he's only pitched twice in the last 2 weeks. 3 days off since his last outing at Dodger Stadium, or Angel Stadium, I should say. He did pitch 2 innings at Dodger Stadium, but prior to that, you got to go back to May 10th for him to have pitched in a game. And a strikeout. The last 8 outs have been recorded on strikeouts, and every last one of them has been a swinging strikeout.
Yeah, maybe the focus of the at-bats they had early in the game and all those runners they left out there in scoring position, just get to a certain point in the game where you're trying to have that same intensity, but you also realize at some point that you squandered a lot of chances and didn't play a clean game defensively.
To the right field corner, and Wallner has no play. Again, the Twins to this point in the season had not lost 4 in a row, hadn't been swept in a series, and that's what was at stake here today.
And then you bring in the guy who just threw the fastest pitch in baseball all season to finish it off.
And backs it up with another 104-mile-per-hour fastball.
That is absolutely incredible. The fact that he was able to get the half swing, he was still able to get something on it. .105. Oh my. It's getting loose.
Pitching very much like a pitcher who is well rested. And then that, an off-speed pitch, dribbled down the line, and Flores will have. Oh my goodness. He was jogging around first, got to second, and a little bit more on target throw by Castro would have thrown him out at second. So it's a double.
Way out front, just trying to get it out there to fastball. A terrible pitch at the bottom of the zone. Not expecting that ball to get pulled down the line, so he had a little room there.
Oh, change up, 101. No.
That was a split.
Was it really? A 101 mile per hour splinker. Okay.
And in the zone, not called.
Well, we've now entered a realm that I never thought we would enter. We have a man on the mound throwing triple-digit off-speed stuff. One and two.
That was another split at 101. Love to see him elevate and just let it fly right here. See if we can get a 105.
One and two. With 2 outs, top of the 9th. Touched 103.
I mean, we still marvel at it, but the fact that he's able to consistently throw strikes as hard as he's throwing, I think maybe is the most impressive thing about all of this for me. Just he's very rarely we see him run counts to 3-0, and maybe it's just the fact that he trusts his stuff so well, but you know, throw accurately. He's incredible.
104 up and in, and the series ends. The Twins bullpen limping into this game, really struggled, and here today the bullpen was nearly perfect in a 7-1 win.
Just a kind of a sloppy game, a little bit defensively from both sides. Giants left a ton of runners on base. Give credit to Joe Ryan for stranding him out there. Made a ton of pitches when he needed to. Lowered his ERA in this outing from 2.25 to 2.21. Maybe most proud of this one, the fact that he was able to battle and grind through the whole thing. And then you had some contributions from some guys you brought over recently from St. Paul. A couple of aggressive, nice base running plays. Drove the ball to the ballpark a couple of times. All around, just a good game, a game he needed heading into the off day with a good team coming in on Friday.
Twins Live postgame, a lot to cover. That's coming up next.